refrain from it is what they would do.
Okay. Jay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. I've got a similar thought as to Jimmy. Is I'm not sure how you block that off, but again, without having discussed it with the directors and knowing exactly what their plan is to keep some part of it open, I'm willing to give them the autonomy to give it a shot, and then if we have issues with it, then we can address it later.
Okay, I'm fine with that. Kevin?
I'm good with that.
Okay, so no specific instructions on that. It just falls under the state orders then.
That's right.
Okay. Let's see. What am I leaving out, guys? I believe we may have covered Lisa. Are we leaving anything out? I think that may have covered it. Those were the few talking points that we had. Like I said, most of it, I believe we were in agreement with all of it. So,
what about the dog park? Is it open too? Full park?
Yeah.
The dog park. Yeah. What was that recommendation? Was that Saturday as well?
Mm-hmm.
I believe that I was fine with that recommendations given for the dog park.
Okay.
Same here.
Anybody else have a strong opinion one way or the other on the dog park?
Dog lives matter.
Somebody take the coffee away from Robert. All right. So, Lisa, ball fields. I believe is there anybody that had a difference in the sports fields? Ball fields open for practice. Phase three comes later. Ball fields open for practices, resume games per the state guidelines in phase 3. Trying to look at what they are in phase 1 and 2 right now.
Phase 2, I think according to the mayor's plan, the ball field's open on Saturday, and it would revert back to what we had originally said back in March, which is that they're open but to small groups, nobody more than 10, 6 feet apart.
Okay. So would be just adopt the recommendations per the mayor's proposal?
That's right. And again, I think the mayor's proposal is just reverting back to what we had decided back at the March meeting, at least as far as the ball fields are concerned.
Okay. Okay. Marcus, have you got a resolution drawn up for us there?
I don't know that I've got everything all together. I was going to hope to pull up with Lisa. Hang on just a second.
Do you guys want to huddle up for a few minutes? Well, I guess you're not together, so you can't. So
we're not. That's one of the problems. Yeah. I mean, we could. Lisa, can we just do a blanket adoption of what we've already?
Well, let me take a stab at it. A resolution stating that, the governing body of the city of Fairhope accepts the recommendations of the mayor with the following exceptions. The Quail Creek Golf Course will reopen on Saturday at 7 a.m. per the resolution adopted by the council on Monday, whatever Monday's date was. And the North Beach Park would reopen to the public. I also think that we need to say that there's going to be no charge right now because typically we charge for non-residents. I think we should suspend with the charging. We don't want the gatekeeper to be handling cash. Can we agree to that?
I still think we ought to charge for non-residents just like we normally would.
You could do like they do on the toll bridge right now. They're only taking credit card payment. They're not taking cash.
Well, somebody drives over and they don't have any. Well, they don't have a credit card. And all they have is cash. I don't know. I didn't think we wanted that hand-to-hand contact. I think we're only talking about for about 2.5 weeks. I don't know how much revenue that's going to cost the city. Probably not very much. I think it's a trade-off for the safety and welfare of the gatekeeper versus a few dollars.
I'm fine with not charging.
I can live with that.
I think we could probably live without the $500 that we would make maximum in revenue.
My vote would be charged, but credit card only.
Are they set up for credit cards down there? Do we know?
You still have to do hand-to-hand to get their credit card from them.
Correct.
Situation.
Kevin, do you have an opinion?
Yeah, my opinion is I don't handle money at all, and I'm not much on it. Let somebody handle my credit card, so I'm for no charge.
If hey Jay, I'm hearing a majority say no charge. I mean, and I'd like to be unanimous on the resolution. If we put that in there, are you okay with that?
I mean,
I don't. This is Lisa. I don't know if we're set up for credit card down there.
okay. Well, if we're not set up for credit card, then that takes that out as an option. All right. Yeah. Well, let me say this. I definitely don't agree with taking cash payment at this point in time and handling cash. So if we're not set up for credit card, then no charge.
Okay. All right. What other points?
Just want to emphasize, this is Kevin again. I want to emphasize that, everybody, this is up to the people to decide how long this is going to stay and remain open, as long as we do the right thing and stay within the limits of the distancing and social distancing and what the governor's putting in place for us. We need to be real conscious of that when we start opening up the stores, because we really need to open up these stores. And I'm talking to Robert in the meetings. I'm kind of leaning toward him that we do need to open up this town. And as long as the people do what they're supposed to do, we'll be okay with it. I don't know how you put that in the minutes. In the.
Well, I think that it just means that. I think what you're stating is that things could change if people aren't abiding by the social distancing. We reserve the right to change and hope that we don't have to reverse course. But that's always, we always have that option if people aren't abiding by it. For instance, if the pier gets so crowded you can't properly social distance, then that might be up for discussion. Things such as that, I believe. Okay, was there any what other points do we have to put in there? Do we need to
Opening the park.
What's that, Lisa?
You mentioned the points for opening up the park.
Some of the ball fields.
No, I think we were just talking about playground parks and stuff, and you said make sure that they were roped off like they were talking about.
Right. So I guess that we would allow them to. I guess that we would allow them to open, subject to closing off preventing the use of the playground equipment. No. Okay. Anything else, Lisa?
No, those were the points.
Okay. Any council? Are there any other finer points that I'm leaving out?
Nope.
Okay. So, Lisa or Marcus, can you take a stab at now putting that back into words? And I'm sorry, I can't write because I'm riding in a car right now.
Be resolved by the governing body of the city of Fairhope that the city council hereby adopts the recommendations set forth by the mayor of the city of Fairhope with the exception of, and you're going to have to work with me here, golf course is to remain open as per instructions set forth on Monday, April 27th. Was that the date, Lisa? 2000. And the playground parks downtown are to remain open with the exception of the playground equipment, which is to be roped off or cordoned off by city officials. The North Beach park shall remain open, or shall open on, what date is this? Are we doing this on Saturday? Is that right?
Correct.
May 2nd.
Shall open on Saturday, May 2nd, 7 a.m. There should be no toll restrictions on the park, and all playground equipment shall be cordoned off by city officials according to the governor's orders. All social distancing measures shall remain in place as per orders of the governor. Was there a dog park issue? Was that in the mayor's recommendation?
No, I think it's per her recommendations. Per the mayor's dog park, tennis center, all per the mayor's recommendations.
No. Ballpark shall revert back to the pre-closure status with the mandates set forth by the governor regarding social distancing protocols remain in place.
All right.
Was there anything else?
The pier.
Yeah, there's one point, and somebody else wanted to say something. I heard them right before you started, but you know, one of the points in the mayor's recommendations, I believe I read that the North Beach Park would only be open to foot traffic, and I believe that what I'm hearing is we want it open to all traffic. It's going to be open to pedestrian and vehicular traffic. Am I correct, Council? Are you okay with opening it to pedestrian and vehicular traffic?
I am. I thought her recommendation said foot and vehicular traffic, but so I think she's got that in there already.
And I thought I read something that said that it was going to be closed to vehicular. But anyway, let's to give it clarity, let's put it in the resolution so there's no ambiguity about that.
Okay, amend the resolution to add that the North Beach should be open to vehicular and foot traffic with the restrictions set forth on the playground. Playground should be closed.
Correct.
Right.
All right. Now, who had somebody was trying to say something right before Marcus read that resolution. Who was that?
It was me. Who didn't put the pier in there. North Beach and
What's
pier.
that?
Pier.
Yeah, that's right. Let's make sure that it is specifically stated that the pier is opening. The pier and the Rose Garden area and the traffic circle and all that is going to be opened on Saturday morning.
Right. Amended as such.
Okay.
Okay. Does somebody want to make the motion to adopt the resolution read by Marcus, and then with the couple of amendments that were just made?
Kevin makes the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Okay. Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor, Lisa, if you'll call a roll call, please.
Council President?
Aye.
Place 2?
Aye.
Place 3?
Aye.
Place 4?
Aye.
Place 5?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you, Council. I do not believe there should be any more business. Is there any other business related to the COVID-19 pandemic that we need to consider at this time?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Okay.
Jack.
Who is that?
That's Councilman Brown here.
Okay.
I was approached by an individual yesterday who has a Fairhope High School senior, and she was looking to do some kind of parade because graduation at this point has been called off. There's no ceremony planned. Certainly not May 18th, which is the day they were supposed to walk. As most of y'all know, I don't know if anybody else has a high school senior, but they've been deprived of a lot of recognition and a lot of closure in their high school year. So this individual wanted to organize some kind of parade. So I contacted her. She didn't, and I told her I was a councilman to do whatever I could to help. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah. Yep, we're listening.
Okay. Sounds like somebody was in the wind. So anyway, after discussing with her, we thought it was a great idea to have a parade for the high school seniors, have them line up in their cars. You know, they can have however many, up to 10 people in their car if they can safely do that, if they've got a van or 4 or 5 friends in each car, but they line up at the Valana Park and then have a police escort down Greeno Road and end up at the high school. And there's discussion about maybe getting the faculty to, be in the parking lot, kind of waving them, goodbye. And then there's even some talk of maybe trying to get a radio to do a live broadcast with messages from the principals to the seniors as they make this final drive. I thought it was a great idea, especially since I have a senior that is one of those kids that's been deprived of the senior recognition. I think it'd be something good for the community. You wouldn't be breaking any rules. Nobody, everybody be in their cars. There wouldn't be any congregating at the park before. We could have somebody enforcing that. And then they just have one last drive through the high school campus. So just want to throw that out there. I guess the council would have to authorize the police to be able to give the escort. And so other than that, I'll just open that up for discussion.
And Robert, would people line Greeno Road practicing social distancing so that, the people on the route can see the people, applauding them or recognizing them as they see fit?
Right. And parents would be one of those lining the road. There might be a certain section of Greeno where the parents say, hey, let's line up in this area. Business owners, and I guess the sooner we get this out, and it's not going to take a lot of prep, but business owners, I think, would come out and give some recognition to those community seniors that are graduating.
Council, what do y'all think? Jay?
I think that's great.
Jimmy?
I think it's a great idea.
Kevin?
I have no problem with it. It's a real good idea.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a great idea. Do we need to make a resolution now to authorize the resources to support that parade? Do we need to do that now so that they could start planning it? We just want to give them a nod that we vote on it at the next meeting, or what? We could go ahead and Robert, if you wanted to make a motion, authorizing the mayor to provide police escorts to support such a senior parade, we could do that. And Robert, do you want to include seniors from the Catholic High School and Bayside? I know that they wouldn't be going to their school. It'd be one parade, but I mean, could they somehow be included? I don't have a dog in that fight. I just trying to be inclusive of all the seniors.
No, and I didn't talk to that the lady that's trying to organize it. I didn't talk to her. That did cross my mind after I got the phone. To make this more of a community event, it could include the seniors from the other schools that live in Fairhope.
Right. And then lastly, the teachers, if the teachers and staff receive them at the school, what you're envisioning is they're going to be spaced out, socially distancing, maybe holding a sign, congratulatory or waving, and just cheering them on.
That's right.
All right. Did you want to make a motion to authorize the mayor to provide the city resources to support such a senior parade? Do you have the date, Robert? You can put date TV. You can.
It'd be May 18th. That's the graduation date. Let me just get back with her and
you can say date. You can say date TBD if you want in the motion.
No, I know the date is the 18th. I don't know the time, but let me get with this organizer and see if she has a problem. I don't want to, she's the one that came up with the idea, and see if she has an issue with including the other high schools before we do anything. But at least I can go back to her and say we've got support for it.
Well, I mean, I don't know that you have to put that part in the resolution. We just could say we encourage them to invite the others. Right. We're just trying to get the resources to have the parade.
All right. I make a motion to authorize the mayor to allocate the necessary police resources to conduct a vehicular parade on May the 18th, time to be determined, from Valanda Park to Fairhope High School.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I got Kevin and a couple others that seconded it. Any discussion? Okay. Hearing no discussion. Lisa, will you give a roll call vote, please?
Council President?
Aye.
Place 2?
Aye.
Place 3?
Aye.
Place 4?
Aye.
Place 5?
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous. Thank you, council. Any other items that need to come before the council concerning anything related to the pandemic?
Jack, I've got one more.
Go ahead. What's that?
Yep, I've got one more thought, and I don't think any action. I guess it could turn into a motion if everybody kind of agreed. I'm a little disappointed in the governor's latest, safer at home action, and how it didn't loosen the restrictions on local restaurants. I was hoping that she would have followed her task force that she formed, their recommendation for opening those restaurants immediately, and follow the safe distancing, where it's half capacity, just like the retail did. But however, she didn't take that. I know she's getting pressure from the Restaurant Association. I didn't know for the rest of the council, what's their take on that?
Who else? Anybody? Jay, thoughts or?
Yeah, I mean, I expected it to be opened up a little more, and from what I heard from the part of the press conference I watched is that the number, in order to do a lot of these things that they wanted to do, you had to have a steady decrease in the numbers, and we just didn't have that yet, which was the reason they didn't allow everything to reopen. I was disappointed in it as well, not for myself, but for the restaurant owners, and not to mention the barbers and salons and all those things. But I don't know that there's anything we can do in response to that if it's a state order.
So, Robert, you said action. The only action that the council could take on that would be just to draft a letter urging the governor to open them up. I mean, that's the only action. Obviously, we can't take action that would affect the opening, but we could take action to send a message. Is the only action we could take. Jimmy?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm there with that on y'all. I think that especially if they can maintain safe social distancing and if they had outdoor seating, I mean that would be that'd be good to me. But again, like you said, we can't really affect it other than just taking a position. So,
Kevin.
I agree with Robert 100%. We do need to send a letter or do something to try to get this whole town open to get the businesses running again and as safely as possible. I mean, you can open up a restaurant. I feel use every other table. At least have the restaurant open where people can help the businesses out. So, yeah, I'm all for sending a letter to the mayor, to the governor.
Okay. I could go along with the majority. I have some mixed emotions. I mean, I don't know what that magic number is if you send a letter. If you say, 50% occupancy. Yeah.
Jack, sorry to interrupt, but kind of the form of this meeting, I would just say the council, if everybody agrees or, just do the vote, but send a letter to the governor saying that we endorse the task force recommendation for opening all of small business.
Okay, are you in agreement with all of their recommendations?
Yes, I had no problem with any of it. If you just wanted to limit the restaurants, you could do that, but
I can call for a motion to send a letter to the governor urging to accept the task force recommendations.
all right.
I don't hear a motion.
Yeah,
I'll make a motion.
I'll make the motion. Kevin makes the motion.
I'll second.
All right. I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Did I hear Jay?
Yeah, I don't have those recommendations in front of me right here, and without being able to see what all of them are, I don't know that I can say blanketly that I support every single one of them without having had the opportunity to look at them.
Could you, if it was amended, since Robert brought up just restaurants, could you say, just trying to look for some consensus here? Would you be more comfortable if he? Yeah, hang on.
Yeah.
Would you be? Hang on a second. Jay, would you be more comfortable if it was amended to say in regards to restaurants?
I would.
Okay, go ahead, Robert. Now you go ahead.
Yeah, so to me, there again, that's kind of gets back to what the governor did. I mean, it's handpicking certain industries, and I certainly don't want to leave out the salons. I mean, I talked to several people this morning in my run group who, have salon owners coming to their house. I mean, and they're like, there's only one person in the salon at a time. So at the same time, understand we might not, and I don't know what all their guidelines are, but I'm going to trust the task force that she put together certainly doesn't have anything that's going to put anybody at risk. Was my only reason for saying that. So I don't want to just a restaurant because that's going to leave other people out that are unattended.
Yeah, I don't want to leave other people out too, but I kind of tend to agree with Jay in that unless I have all those recommendations in front of me, there may be others that I may or may not like the way it's written. I don't know. And we also, we can also review that and go back to that later if we, want to say that. I think that a letter that's written when the council is unanimous is a much more powerful letter than one if we wound up having a split vote here.
Well, and Jack, bringing up barbers and salons, I've got no issue opening those either. I think that fits along with restaurants. My point is, without knowing everything that's in it, I can't say that I agree with it. And so I'd have no issue making or seconding a motion or voting for a motion that recommended that we follow the task force guidelines as it relates to barbershops, salons, and restaurants.
Is there anything that's not open? I think that gyms are still closed, and I actually don't disagree. I don't know what their recommendations were on that, though. So, Robert, would you be willing to amend your resolution to say, urge the governor to accept the task force recommendations with regards to restaurants, barbershops, and hair salons?
I'll let somebody else make that motion.
Well, we got to consider the motion. We have a motion on the table in a second. We would be out of order if we did that. We have to consider this one first. So if you want to leave that on the table, we're in discussion and we have a motion in a second. I'll just go and say discussion. I'll throw caution to the wind and would probably vote on that. So just trying not to have a split vote. So without any further discussion, I have a motion in a second. So all those in favor of Robert's motion, well, Lisa, I'm just doing these roll calls so there's no confusion. Lisa, will you call a roll call vote?
This is to accept all recommendations.
Robert's recommendation, yes.
Council President?
Aye.
Place 2?
Nay.
Place 3?
Aye.
Place 4?
Aye.
Place 5?
Aye.
Okay. Was that, did I hear one nay? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So motion passes 4-1. All right. Is there anything else that we need to discuss?
Just one thing. Oh, go ahead, Jay.
This is Marcus. I got just one question. The governor opened up all public pools. Lakewood is opening theirs up Saturday morning, and the mayor, we didn't mention the pool, the city pool, but the mayor's recommendation had just said the Fairhope Rec Center opening on the 18th, and that's a separate facility or separate building from the rec center, from what I consider the rec center on where the gym and the basketball and everything is. Was there any thought about opening up the pool earlier?
Marcus, actually I did address the pools. I did say, I mentioned pools at the very outset and said that we would accept the mayor's recommendations on the pools.
Okay. I didn't, when we went through the resolution, I didn't hear it in there, and we'll leave that in there. I'm sorry. Just one of those things that didn't get in my notes.
No, that's fine. There were a lot of different subjects that I just kind of rattled off at the beginning. That was one of them, along with the Nick Center and the museum and those facilities.
Okay.
All right. Is there anything else? I'm a little afraid to continue with agendas because I think we're kind of, we're getting a pretty extended agenda. I don't know that we need to do that.
Well, the only other thing I wanted to mention is that the library did send out a plan for opening, and that, they're a city facility, and they have kind of a phased-in plan that they had submitted.
Do we need to approve that, Jimmy? Are they looking for us to approve it or endorse it or?
I think so. They're a separate board and entity, but it's a city building, owned building, or funded. I would say, I think I'm good with endorsing what they determined to be safe standard, and they would phase it in, not having any kind of programming initially, of course, until later, but they would gradually open to the public, I think on May 18th, and would basically have it on a limited occupancy basis, and then the next phase would be more people coming in, and then the third phase would be no limit plus resuming with programming.
So, Jimmy, do you want to make that in the form of a motion to adopt the library's recommendations for reopening?
Yes, I'll make a motion that we adopt the recommendations as put forth by the library for their phased-in reopening plan.
I second.
Great. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? I just want to say I have read those, and I agree with them as well. I'm glad you brought that up, Jimmy. That is important. Any other discussion? Okay. Lisa, will you call a roll on a vote, please?
Council President?
Aye.
Place 2?
Aye.
Place 3,
Aye.
place 4,
Aye.
place 5.
Aye.
All right, unanimous. Motion carries. All right. Any other business? All right, I'll ask for a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
So moved.
I heard two motions. Did I get a second in there?
Yeah, I got a second.
Okay. Have a motion and a second for adjournment. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. All right, we're adjourned. Hey, thanks to everyone. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks, Jack.
Bye-bye.